Today, in our Tech Spotlight segment, we're catching up with Anthony Polemis, Head of Architect Business Development at iCapital, to talk about new exciting features of Architect and just more broadly about portfolio construction. Anthony, thanks so much for coming by again. We've seen you quite a few times actually over the last 12 months, and it's been an exciting journey for Architect, including some of the new features that we'll talk about today. But my first question to you is, for advisors who are building an asset allocation to include alternatives, it could be quite a complex process. So how are we helping streamline that with technology?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Historically, advisors have used portfolio risk and construction tools for a long time in public markets to build portfolios. And so what we did with Architect is when we released it a year ago, really for the first time, we brought to market a tool that can help advisors bring alternatives into the picture. So advisors can select alternative funds from their iCapital menu, drop them into their public portfolios, and then do a side-by-side comparison. What we've recently rolled out, though, is a couple of new and really exciting features. So for advisors who are maybe a little bit newer to alts allocations and maybe need a little bit of help in terms of where to start, we've introduced sort of two new paths for them. So one feature that we've rolled out is the ability to bring an iCapital model portfolio directly into your public allocation. So our research team has created these outcome-oriented model portfolios, balanced and growth, that with a single click, an advisor can bring into his or her client's public allocation for analysis. The next feature, this is our goals-based portfolio allocator. So an advisor might have an idea of the outcome that they want for their client, but not necessarily know, where to start. And so with this allocator, what an advisor can do is set up their client's objective. Maybe that's hitting a return target. They can set some constraints. Maybe the client doesn't want to sell down from this or that position, or maybe the client has a volatility target they're looking to reach. And on the basis of those goals and constraints, we can then run the allocator, and what that will surface is, options that the advisor can use to meet those objectives and then can fill in with specific funds. So taking all of those three together, we're excited about all the different options that advisors have to build portfolios in Architect.
Right. And this ability to optimize a portfolio based on a set of goals and maybe their specific return goals is really critical because, a lot of advisors, as they go through the financial planning for their clients, they do kind of back into a specific return target that they need to reach. So step one is building the portfolio, incorporating the alts into the portfolio. But step two has got to be, needing ongoing insights to manage that portfolio. So how do we solve for that?
Yeah. So once you put the portfolio together, the next thing that you sort of need to do on your list is think through, is this the right portfolio for my client? So you might want to look at historical returns or volatility levels. Is this alt allocation delivering me, what I'm looking for from a return perspective, from a vol perspective? You might want to look at diversification. So is this portfolio offering, diversifying the risk factors that I want it to? You might also consider things like liquidity. Is introducing these alts in line with my own client's liquidity profile, and does it overall fit their sort of set of preferences? Those are the types of analytics that you might look at, following an analysis in Architect.
And, there are a lot of nuances because some clients might be familiar with alternatives, others are not, and similarly for advisors. So this process of communicating the benefits of alternatives from the advisor to the client, how can technology play a role there as well?
Yeah, so I think you just hit on probably our highest demand feature. So what we've heard from advisors, really all the time is that this is really a big challenge, right? As you said, alts are complicated, they're nuanced, and there really hasn't been, to date, a tool that can help advisors actually put a piece of paper in front of their client that shows holistically the impact that alts can have in an allocation. And that's why we're really, really excited to roll out a client-friendly report from Architect for RIAs that's really designed to help out with that conversation. So now, when an advisor goes to talk to their client, in addition to talking about the fund specifically, they can really paint a much broader picture about the entire allocation and about the outcomes that alts can help drive.
So that conversation really helps the advisor and the client be aligned about what kind of alternative strategy they're going to pursue and how that fits into the overall portfolio. But how do you translate that strategy into action?
Yeah, so you've built your portfolio, you've analyzed it, you've spoken to your client about it. Well, the next step is investing. And so if you've built out an allocation that contains, a group of alternative funds, directly from Architect, you can actually kick off a multi-investment workflow and, actually go through the process of investing in each of these funds and the next steps, kind of following portfolio construction. So we're really taking it from idea generation all the way through to execution.
Well, Anthony, thank you so much for sharing your perspective on how technology can really help optimize all the various steps of the process of explaining alternatives and embedding alternatives into the portfolio. I know you always focused on building out new features, so congratulations on launching this incredible set of new features, and we'll look out for many more, I'm sure.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we'd like to hear from you. Send us an email at yourquestion@icapitalnetwork.com and let us know what questions are at the top of mind for you and your clients. I'm Anastasia Amoroso, and thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Beyond 6040.